More AEW departures are expected this month. TNA are reportedly not planning to address Tessa Blanchard allegations, and we've got an update on the potential of a Hardy Boyz WWE main roster return. It's time for the news. Layla Hirsch, of course, departing AEW this week. Brian Alvarez has been chatting away about this on Wrestling Observer Live, suggesting that this might not be the last departure from the company that we see this month.
He said, I think that this will not be the last time you hear this story in the month of March. I've heard there might be some departures coming up in March, whether it's people being released, people's deals coming up and not being renewed. I think the fact of the matter is they got way too many people under contract. And then he continued to say, I think I can comfortably say she, Layla Hirsch, will not be the last in the next 30 days.
So in recent weeks, we of course seen the departures of Ricky Starks, now Ricky Saints over in NXT. We've also seen Miro go and Malachi Black as well. It would be wrong to sit here and speculate on names, but there are a couple to mention, I think, as far as people that we talked about previously. Kenny Omega, the Bucks. No, Ray Phoenix wants out for and has wanted out for quite a while now. Obviously, Penta over in WWE. It would be very, very funny if he didn't get released. There's, there was a report 2 weeks ago saying we're not going to have to wait that much longer. Ray Phoenix is going to be gone from the company. He's desperate to get out. That hasn't happened as far as we know.
And
just yet.
Was apparently people backstage telling Tony, it's time.
Yeah, well, it's been a bit of a PR disaster. I think it's a lose-lose situation for Tony, because if he just released him because he wanted out, does Tony look like a weak leader?
And then
because
WWE capitalize, and then they shift all the merch, and then it becomes the big conversation of look at the presentation versus the presentation. But then if he holds on to him, it's the whole, are you making him sit out his contract? And, we've seen this years and years with WWE where people are just sort of held so they can't go anywhere else. And it's never, ever been something that's had even a slightly positive slant to it when you look at it. It's kind of just harsh. People want to work, and to deny them the right to work, even if they're under contract, use them. Just use them.
I'll mention one more name just because he's been backstage in AEW in recent weeks and hasn't appeared on TV for a long, long time. Keith Lee as well. Wouldn't be a surprise as well. We send our very best to Keith always because he's absolutely awesome. But we will keep you updated on that. On that note, I mean, it's something that fans have been saying for the longest time is that AEW's roster is so bloated. So this isn't a big surprise.
No, having a deep roster is important. You need to be able to have a range of names you can call up, and especially if you're going to be running things like house show circuits. Even no matter how small, you still need that depth of talent if you're maybe going to be in towns very close to TV dates or whatever. But at the same time, it has just very much felt like and now the net is really full, and you're kind of only able to grab the first few off the top without having to upend everything. So I think it's just it's probably horrible to say, but it's been a long time coming.
Unfortunately so. I really do think a hard brand split might have helped him out as far as keeping, because the top guys and gals get used on lots of different shows, and it doesn't leave enough room for the people that are lower down the card. Anyway, as I say, we'll keep you updated on that. We head over to TNA Wrestling, who reportedly do not have any plans to address the racism and bullying allegations against Tessa Blanchard. She returned to the company in December of 2024, and since then she has received numerous "she's a racist" chants. You will have seen them even if you don't watch TNA Wrestling. You'll have seen them shared on social media. They have been pretty relentless. In a Fightful Select Q&A with Sean Ross Sapp, he said that they won't be addressing the allegations if they can help it. And he noted that he's heard that TNA have said that Blanchard addressing the situation 5 years ago is satisfactory to them. I mean, those clips, I've seen plenty of them at this point. What can they do? Because it's not like you can't use it as a heel trait, can you?
No, it's too far on. It doesn't fit within that remit.
No, it constantly feels with TNA that it's like one step forward, one or two steps back. And this Tessa Blanchard stuff, they've had so many high points, and they've signed big lucrative deals, obviously notably WWE.
They've had Joe
and then
Hendry.
Something will happen. Joe Hendry. Something will happen, and it's just back to the old LOL TNA stuff. They what can they do with the Tessa stuff?
They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. But they've sort of made their own bed with it.
Yeah,
by
no,
bringing
totally.
It back. So it's kind of
it's their own fault. It's daft.
It's just I guess, like, you know, you can't really address it if they're going to use the, you know, 5 years ago it was satisfactory. But if those chants are going to keep going, like, surely there's going to come a point where WWE are starting to get a bit like, ooh.
Well, the thing is, I think they will keep going, because with the size of TNA crowds, you only need a very small pocket of fans who are in the know.
Vocal minority.
Exactly. And then everybody else will pick up and do it. But you're right. They've made their own bed. They really, really have. And it's frustrating because, like, I love TNA Wrestling. I've been watching it for the longest time.
And it was just on such a meteoric rise. And then she came back and it was like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the Scott D'Amore stuff before, and that backstage frustration.
Jordan Grace, and there was all the other stuff on the horizon, but surely there were other routes.
Daft, really daft. A quick note from The Observer, WWE cutting back on comped tickets. So it's written here, in addition, with the company cutting back on comps due to the shows drawing such big crowds, paying high prices, not only have they cut back on talent being able to get tickets for friends and family, but they have eliminated employees being able to get comp tickets for any live shows. He continues, it was noted to us that while talent was essentially told they are all millionaires, and if they want their parents or brothers to come in most cases, that's fine, but the comps would be limited and they can't bring all kinds of family and friends as they have done in the past. The basic line is that the top talent are all millionaires and they can afford to buy tickets for their friends. Right, take that, pinch of salt and everything there. It is true about the comp tickets. Naming no names, I used to be able to DM a certain hyped wrestler and he would sort us out with tickets. And that was a couple of years ago now. That was when that particular wrestler, and again, I will name no names, he used to be able to sort us out with plenty, and those comps have dwindled over the past few years. And you know what? It does really suck. I understand, right? Because they're not struggling to sell tickets right now, and if they can make more money, got to look after the shareholders, right? But it must have been a really nice perk to have for WWE staff to be able to get your mates or your friends, your family, whatever.
When I worked in a cinema, I'd be able to get free tickets if my mum wanted to see something. It's just so, you know, like, and
they're bragging about these massive gates. They're making absolute bank right now.
And then they're going to be like, oh, your family have to sit in the comp section, and unfortunately it's £1 million per ticket. Come on, Roman.
The comp section was always really good, wasn't it? We got some good tickets from there. Quick update as well on the Hardy Boyz' potential main roster return. Observers saying a WWE main roster run for the Hardys has not been discussed as of February 26th, although it likely will be at some point. Matt and Jeff have been pretty open about the fact that they see themselves back in WWE. One last hurrah on the main roster. They're slowing down a considerable amount in the ring, but they can still do some cool stuff. And you see the reaction that they got on NXT. I mean, they're the Hardy Boyz, one of the greatest tag teams ever. I think they will go out on a main roster run.
Look, it's a no-brainer to me. I get that a lot of people just don't want to see the Hardy Boyz anymore, and a lot of people are kind of turned off by the idea of having them do a final main roster run, but at the same time, one, it's the Hardy Boyz. Come on, one last hurrah on the main roster would be nice. Two, think of the merch money they're going to be able to generate.
Yep.
If they're going to go out on a high, they're going to be able to sell classic Hardy Boyz designs. They're going to be able to do all of this stuff. And I guess we get that one big last hurrah tour, Cena style, or we just get one nice big last statement run.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to see him come back and dominate the tag scene or anything like that.
But I just want to see them have standout matches. Them versus Machine Guns. You put them with pretty much anybody, and it's just going to be just. Yeah, it's the Hardy Boyz.
It is that. That's it. It's the Hardy Boyz, isn't it? Obviously, I think they're, what are they, 50 and 49 now, something like that. So the fact that they can still go as they are, again, they have slowed down considerably.
We just minimise some of the risks, and I'm happy to just see
a few matches. Get them in the Hall of Fame, obviously. Yeah. We finish as well with the what happened when SmackDown went off air last night. Just a little thing to send the crowd home happy in case you were interested. Cody Rhodes addressing the crowd. Solo Sikoa comes out, attacks him, and then Rhodes rallied, drops Solo with the crossroads, ending the night standing tall. It looks like the bloodline very much falling apart. The rumoured match is Jacob Fatu versus Solo at WrestleMania, which I'm all for.
Yes, it's going to be absolutely filthy.
And there you go. So don't read too much into that, just in case you've seen a picture.
It's a classic, isn't it? It's a classic show ender. It's like, this town's the best town I've ever. Heel comes out.
Job done.
Yeah.
Speaking of job done, that's it for this video. Myself and Andrew will be live at 10 p.m. UK time for Elimination Chamber tonight. Do join us there, followed by What Happened At, and then WTF soon after over on patreon.com/Cultaholic. Thank you very, very much for watching, and we'll see you in a bit.